All right, guys, we were back for another episode of Muscle Discord, and this one is going to be a debate. It's been happening between Dave Palumbo and Bob Cicherillo over the last few days. They've been going back and forth at each other, and in my opinion, I think they're both wrong. But you have a different stance on it as well, so it might be a little bit debate between me and you on this men's physique new height weight cap that the NPC was going to implement after the Olympia this year for just the pros. Okay, so a little bit of context with this, and what I want to do is give you guys even more context directly from the NPC here. So we'll just jump right into it and let him. I think it's Tyler Mannion speak on it right here. All right.
We want to give a heads up to all of our athletes and our coaches that after the Olympia this year, we will be instituting heights and weight limits for our men's physique pros, not amateurs, just the pros. This will go into effect for the first show after the Olympia this year. Why would we do this? We've had great success with our heights and weights in classic physique so far. We want to make sure that our men's physique athletes are not getting too big. You know, this is very important because that's almost like the go-to saying for a lot of people online that just see the pictures of the shows, really not seeing them in person, but seeing the pictures of the shows and saying a lot of the men's physique athletes are getting too big. Now, we'll go over some stuff later in this video. I don't think that's the case. I think a lot of guys that have been doing well recently are not getting too big, but having height and weight limits on these guys will help us control that size.
Okay, so that's the context as to how Dave and Bob got in this feud.
Yeah,
that's happening. It's like an old married couple bickering at each other.
I know the odd couple.
Yes. So here we go. I'll bring this other part up in here. Now, this is kind of Dave and Bob going back and forth on, Dave thinks that there shouldn't be a height and weight cap restriction for men's physique. Bob agrees with the NPC and their decision to implement it. And so now they're going back and forth. So let's just watch a little bit of this.
He didn't even understand what I was saying because he was saying, "Oh, Palumbo said that it's not a good idea because bodybuilders won't train their legs, men's physique competitors won't train their legs." And then he goes on to say that, well, the judges don't judge legs either. So what is it? One or the other? I don't understand what
Dave Palumbo on his podcast gave his 2 cents. He thought it was a terrible idea, didn't particularly care for it, thought it was going to be a mistake. And he felt as though, I thought this was a little weird myself, but that this would impact the physiques, that the guys just wouldn't train legs anymore. Go figure the logic on that one. Although he also explained that they actually judge legs. So it makes no sense whatsoever.
Bob, are you that stupid that you didn't listen to my video, or are you having like dementia problems? What I said was men's physique guys won't train their legs if they have to make weight because they don't want that extra weight on their legs when they're not being evaluated down there. So if the judge is not judging your legs, why would you have muscle on your legs? Especially if you're at the limits of making men's physique. So the physiques will not be limited if you only put a weight cap on them. You have to put hey, here's the standard we want. Forget about the weight. The weight's irrelevant because you're not evaluating upper and lower body. In classic physique, the weight limit works because you're judging the whole body. So if you say, okay, a guy 6 feet can only weigh this much, they can distribute it any way they want, obviously, in that sense. And it works. When you don't evaluate half the body and you're covering up half the body, then there's no reason to even have that half of the body there. Essentially, all the weight can be on the upper body.
Okay, so that's the debate. Let me stop sharing here. Right?
Good Lord, man.
So I guess I'll just chime in first, and then you can put your piece in on your thought on this. So I disagree with Palumbo in the fact that you can't just set the standard look and have all the athletes kind of trying to attain that look that the judges reward. That's Dave Palumbo's solution. Yeah. That's not going to work. No one's really going to follow that. They're still you're going to be 6'1", 240 pounds and try and have that look that the judges are rewarding at a different weight than what, say, the guy that won the men's physique, Mr. Olympia, at 210 pounds, but has a certain shape and silhouette to the physique and the muscularity and all that. It's not that won't work, right? Because look at classic physique. You have Chris Bumstead. That's the look, but they still have weight and height caps in classic physique, so it works. and it makes sense to instill that into men's physique as well, so the athletes don't get too huge and look like bodybuilders in board shorts. I agree with the NPC implementing this new rule. And then the other side of it was Bob Cicherillo saying that, well, they judge the legs, Dave. They judge, and Palumbo saying, well, they don't judge the legs. So who's right and who's wrong in that sense? And then Dave said he spoke to Steve Weinberger, and Steve said, we don't judge the legs, right? So then Dave said, Bob, you're lying. You're straight out lying. They don't judge the legs. What are you talking about? And then I think you have some new intel on this, just like an hour ago. It keeps going.
Careful, he didn't say that Steve did it.
No,
Steve,
but
he said he's, got word from a top judge.
Yes.
So we all think wink, wink, nudge, nudge, who it is, right?
Yeah.
Now, Bob did put out a video about 45, maybe an hour ago, and he did make mention of this text that Dave got. And of course, Bob being Bob, he's gonna call up the head judge, and talk to him. And in fact, what Steve is saying is that, according to Dave's question, which was, what percentage do you put on the legs in terms of judging? They don't put any percentage of points towards the legs. What they're doing is judging as a whole. So when Steve answered 0, we don't look at the legs type thing. We don't look at the legs as a separate body part. They are judged as part of the whole. And so they are in fact judged, Matt.
They are in fact judged. So
yes.
Palumbo believes that they're not judged.
Yeah.
And Bob
he's just lazy and he's just not doing his homework. I mean, Dave really thinks, because Dave is not entrenched in the day-to-day operations like Bob is, because I mean, he's not an employee. So I mean, he's not entrenched in it behind the scenes. He doesn't necessarily know. So is he more knowledgeable than the normal consumer and audience member? Oh, well, yeah. I mean, it's Dave Palumbo.
Yeah.
But he's still a little bit removed. So he's thinking, I feel from our standpoint, when we look at it, we see board shorts. They don't even care about the legs. You know what the old joke is, right? They don't have to train their legs because they're wearing board shorts. That's the joke. But it's actually not true that they don't look at the legs, though. The judges do look at the legs.
Okay.
Because they're looking at the whole silhouette of the body to see if it flows.
Yes.
And in order for your physique to look fit and flow nicely and you've got nice lines, you're going to have to take into consideration the legs.
Yes.
So the legs are in fact judged, and Dave is kind of talking out of his ass because he doesn't really know, and he's a little bit removed from the sport in that regard.
Yeah. And I do agree. They do judge the legs, because look at the board shorts that they're wearing now. They're
much more fitted,
tight.
They are
right.
You
can see the cuts in the quads through the shorts.
Yeah, and you can see the teardrop at the bottom.
Yes.
Above the knee. Yeah. So yes, they are. And with that, Matt, you can see how the body flows. And that's what they're judging. They're not judging, oh, well, he's got nice squared off pecs. Oh, he's got nice round delts. Oh, he's got nice sweep. No, they're not judging body parts. They're judging a fit look.
Yes.
And the legs come into play. If you're not balanced, you're going to be dinged. If you've got stick legs shooting out of your torso, you're going to be dinged.
Yeah.
So don't come in like that, guys. Don't come in like that.
And I'm just a little bit shocked that Dave would just say, well, just stop training legs. Who cares about the legs? Like, these guys are pro athletes. They live at the gym. That's what they do. You got to tell them to stop training legs and being fit and in shape.
Silly.
It affects your whole body when you don't train legs. It's not a good look.
And Matt, we're still, I mean, for Dave to come on and shoot his mouth type of thing, really, all he needed to do was to Google, how is men's physique judged, IFBB, and I found the information. And the information says that they are to be judged as the body on a whole. So that means legs included, Dave.
Yeah.
So just a little bit of homework, you would have saved yourself the embarrassment of this whole, kiddish back and forth type of thing where they're mocking each other and Bob there is insulting Dave, and Dave's insulting. Well, I mean, Bob insults a little more and gets a little too personal.
Yeah.
in my estimation,
He does. He does.
And he's knocking Dave for having his supplements on his desk.
And then
What while Bob has Celsius
yes,
and Panada and a Red Cod t-shirt and stuff like this. I mean, irony
Yeah.
much?
yeah,
So you know, that rubs me the wrong way, because you know what? You can plug and support any brand you want to
Yeah.
support. That's how people get paid in the
Yes.
business. That's how we have an industry that we enjoy and we love. That's how this stuff works.
he gets
So,
personal, like
you know, dude.
with this, like saying it's a snake oil salesman supplement.
Yes, yeah. I don't like that. That is like completely uncalled
Yeah.
for. And you know what? Yes, everybody and their uncle can have a supplement line, right?
Mhm.
Dave Palumbo is a little bit different. He's been in the game for a long time. He's competed.
Yeah.
He coaches, taught
He's-
people. I mean, no, a snake oil salesman. No.
No, he's
Is he not
super
doing his
smart.
homework? Is he
Yeah.
a little bit, removed? Yes.
Yeah.
But like you said, he's super smart.
In
And
nutrition. Yeah.
Don't be telling him that he's a snake oil salesman.
No, that's
that's
just like-
uncalled for.
that's a weak-
super uncalled for.
You got nothing else to say, so you say something like that.
Mhm.
But I guess at the end of it, I kind of said they were both wrong in a sense where Bob said they do judge your legs. He needs to be more clear on that statement.
Right, and he did in his second video.
Okay, so
To-
he
to his
probably got
credit.
pressure. Yeah.
To his credit, and Bob could, because Bob likes to stir the pot, right? So I
Yeah.
mean, of course he's going to kind of say it that way without giving the full story. But yeah, they're not judged specifically.
No.
So Bob came out and he's saying now that it's as a whole and it's a whole package type thing, which he should have said from the start.
Yes.
So he was wrong for implying that it was, judging the legs specifically, because we
Yeah.
know that, but he did that to egg on Palumbo.
Probably.
It's just his personality.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. It's totally his personality. And unfortunately, I think Bob should handle himself a little better, because he is employed by the IFBB.
Yes.
Right.
Be more professional.
Dave can go off the rails, right?
Yeah.
He owns his own company. What is he going to do? Report himself to himself and take him off
Exactly.
of species? I mean,
Yeah.
but Bob should conduct himself better and not insult Dave. Like this last video, you got to watch it after this.
Okay. I didn't.
He
Yeah.
like literally insults him.
Oh, okay.
Oh, like it's brutal. Like he insults him. So that is uncalled for, and you shouldn't do that if you're a professional in the sport, especially working for the.
I think Bob thinks that's going to get like lots of comments and controversial.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
And so he pushes it, right? Just to get
But
that.
he's a representative.
Yeah, man. You're like, come on, represent the sport.
Like, no,
Do
rise
your
above
job.
that. Yeah.
Right? Be professional, Bob. Don't let Dave Palumbo get to you. And if you need to speak facts on something and be clear about it. You're a representative of the sport. Don't be so generalized where people could misinterpret things.
Right,
and then
right.
they
And
go off on it.
don't browbeat somebody
Yeah.
either. I kind of get personal and insult them
No.
type of thing. Let your facts of you being right do the job, right?
Yeah.
Like call the facts out and then lay them there. And I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so, Dave.
Yeah.
Whatever. But at least be professional about it.
Yeah.
And he's not at all. He's correct, but he hasn't been professional about it in my estimation. So
Yeah. So at the end of the day, I do agree with the NPC and this putting in this new rule. I think it's going to help kind of keep people in line and keep them in check, just like they do for
keep it
classic
at bay.
music. Yeah.
Yeah.
So versus just letting it be a free for all, where you're getting guys that are just getting way too big, and just looking out of place on stage, and they look bigger than the classic physique guys, and they could potentially even compete in the open bodybuilding, like their upper body wise, they could, right? That's how big they are.
Yeah. We don't want that look for men's physique.
No.
It's got to be that healthy, look, not as grainy, not as hard. It's got to be a little smoother. It's got to be a little more attainable type thing. It's got to be kind of like, inspiring type of physique, right? Instead of the oohing and the awing and like, holy crap, look at that, the size of that guy. It doesn't have to be that. It needs to be, damn, that's fit, that's healthy. So I think we need to stay there, and these new rules might help curtail the getting out of hand.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we'll wrap this one up. I think if there is any updates on the feud between Bob Cicherillo and Dave Palumbo, we will report on it. But I think we just need to come in here and mitigate between the two of them and set the record straight. So that's what we're good at doing. We're good at setting the record
I
straight
think so. I think so.
and getting both sides, debating it, and putting it out.
Shooting it right down the middle.
Yes, exactly. All right. Okay, we'll wrap it up and we will catch you guys on the next one. All right. Peace.